Hey, this is Todd Clark, Executive Director of TIVA of the Television Internet Video Association. We're down here at the DC Convention Center with the video show in their first premiere event. This was formerly known as the GV Expo, and they've retained some of the same qualities and aspects, but it's kind of pumped it up. And that means we've got a great roster of panels and discussions around all kinds of topics, and as well as all the manufacturers and of hardware, software are literally all around us. But today we're at the streaming booth here, and we've got this is my second interview in 2 years with Gail McCabe. Creative Media Matters.
You got it right.
See what I'm saying? And to me, that's such an intriguing title because it both asserts, establishes, challenges, and inspires. Because creative media should matter, and media should be creative, and because after all, that's what matters. Anyway, so I'm running soliloquies around your name, but tell me a little bit more about where you have been. I know literally you've been overseas and on different continents, but what is Creative Media Matters doing these days?
Well, the big productions this year, I went to West Africa.
Wow.
And I went with the director of the Center for Disease Control, Center for Global Health,
Wow.
CDC, CGH.
Is this sounding like Ebola-related stuff?
We went and retraced the Ebola track through Sierra Leone, Liberia, Guinea, stopped in Nigeria a little bit. And the idea was to see how those nations and their health services are recovering.
Yep.
Are they recovering? Did the help that CDC give and different partners make a difference? What's the next step? It's been 5 years now since the Ebola crisis was there. And it was, for me, as an American, and I've traveled a lot, it was still very stunning to see how people are adapting, how they can make life and survive with so little. And they are so appreciative of just the little things that we can send their way. And you go to the cemeteries, and the stunning part was that the headstones that did have names on them, because so many of them did not have names, most of them were the health providers, the doctors, the nurses, because they were the first to die, because nobody knew.
So it opens up for me 1,000 questions. So I had spent some time in the Gambia and in Tanzania on two different projects.
And you said it right, the Gambia.
There you go. So most people say Gambia. I said no, it's actually called, I don't think I say Tanzania right, because I'll go back and forth between Tanzania. Anyway, but the Gambia and Tanzania, and I'm just going to ask you this question because when I went, I was a one-person band. So at that time, I had a PD-170, and I had some batteries, and I had like 30 tapes at the time, and I was precautious, but I wasn't in a place where there was a global epicenter. But I was aware of what I was eating and washing my hands. So I'm just curious on those two fronts for you. What was your equipment? How did you equip yourself as a producer? What did you physically bring? And then how did you keep yourself healthy? Because if you're looking at headstones of doctors...
that's a big conversation. Okay, so I knew I was going to be on the go because we were 2 weeks on the road, 4 countries.
Yeah.
So I knew that there were lots of flights and I had to
backpack
get everything
studio.
set so I could go through all the security screening and make it work. So I had my Panasonic GH5 and microphones that went with that.
You had labs and handhelds
labs.
as well?
I took pretty much just labs. I had the Rode Pro for a handheld if I needed it.
Yep.
I had a light, an LED light, light panel that rolled up that I took with me because I knew I had to do some proper sit-down interviews.
All battery powered.
All battery powered. I had a laptop where I could do all my editing and
so
such
you took that next leap, which was to say that let's preview footage and see what we got and all that kind of stuff.
I'm copying my files every day because you never know.
You never know.
Now that was the one hiccup that I had is my laptop, which was I had just bought it. It was a brand new gaming one. It was great. It was powerful. It was strong. It was good price.
You knew robust. You knew what it needed to do.
Did not have an SD card reader built into it. And I said, okay, I can handle this. I have an external SD card reader. Yep. I'm halfway through my 2-week trip and the card reader breaks. And So I said, no problem, I'll go find a computer store, I'll buy a new one. In West Africa, in the countries where I have, they don't have computer stores.
Yeah.
And they get their goods from Amazon, which takes a week. And so I had to reach out and borrow other people's laptops to copy my files.
Wow.
I reached ahead to another country, found a gentleman who had one stashed away in an old laptop bag,
Yeah.
and was able to use that for a day.
But
Lesson learned.
But you've got to be able to be flexible and not freak out, so to speak.
Well-
there's more to freak out about than a missing SD card, right? I mean, there's other things
Yeah.
going on. Where are we eating tonight? Where are we sleeping tonight? Well, you know.
Yeah. Well, part of my I'm here this year for my presentation was just talk about the what ifs
Yeah.
when you're a solo person. And these are the things that I'm learning. It's like you have a checklist and you back up and you back up and you back up, but you also have to pack to be able to move.
So did Perel sponsor your trip? I mean, how did you keep yourself when you're
Wash
in
my
these
hands
pla-
a lot. Wash my hands a
It
lot.
really is key. I mean, people would say I smelled like that weird alcohol smell, but I would show up in a village and all the kids all come out and everyone's touching you and
it's cultural.
wanting to
You
see-
want to shake
exactly,
hands, you
and
wanna give
it's an insult
hugs.
if you don't. So you're left with exposure. It's as plainly as you can put it. But you've got to take care of yourself. So
Well, yeah, I got home and I was surprised that I didn't get sick.
Yeah.
But I was very careful about washing my hands a lot. I was
Yeah.
very careful about what I eat.
yeah.
I try and stay away from the salads and stuff when
Yeah,
I'm traveling.
I would. Yeah, things
you
like
never
that.
know.
But I don't know for you. I mean, I'm sensing that we have a similar passion. I would go back in a split second.
Oh, yeah.
I met so many wonderful friends that are friends for life, and people would invite me to their homes, and there was such a generosity in places of minimal capacity. I don't know how else to put it.
And you learn so much. I mean, I discovered, it's probably out there, but for me, I didn't know, that this whole Ebola crisis in West Africa started in Guinea
Right.
with a bat, with a little kid who either was sleeping in the bat cave because it was cool and got shat upon, or he ate it because bat is part of their survival food.
Yep.
And he gave it to Grandma. Grandma took him into Liberia to go visit family because the borders are porous. Next thing you know, 27,000 people.
Yeah.
Boom. Yeah. So now in West Africa, or East Africa, in the DRC where it is right now, they're tracing it back into the native animals.
Yep.
And through there, probably the chimps and stuff.
So your work, all that wonderful footage, wonderful meaning, it's capturing unique and exclusive insights. Where is that manifest? Where is that ended up?
It is on the CDC YouTube site. It's on my YouTube site.
Which is what again?
CreativeMediaMatters.com.
Yep.
Please check it out.
Yeah.
And
So we have a couple minutes left, but I'm sensing we do have that in common, that you are intrigued and motivated and just magnetically drawn to telling these hard to tell from the heart stories.
oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
I love to tell the stories. I love to get the people factors.
Yeah.
I love to give the context.
Yeah.
You know, we have everything's reduced to 1 minute now. Why does it matter?
Yeah.
Why should we care? And I think that is the disservice that we do to ourselves as a viewing population these days, is we don't stop and ask, why does it matter?
Yeah.
Because everything's connected. We're all connected.
Well, I think you learn that if you do any kind of traveling, that you're in a remote place, but you really are connected to everybody and everything. Mm-hmm. I know it sounds very zen, but it just happens to be true, right?
Yeah, it is.
So tell us again where your workshop is today. I think you're like Studio 5 or 6. I don't know.
I am a small female-owned company,
Yep.
and I'm based in Atlanta, Georgia.
Atlanta, Georgia. Okay.
Yeah.
No, what I meant today for your discussion, you're going to be in one of these little studio rooms.
Did it already.
Oh, you did it already.
I was up there first thing this morning.
But people can come down and meet you here. Are you going to be wandering around today?
Yeah,
Okay.
for a little
and they
bit
can find you
before-
online.
They can find me online. Love to talk equipment, love to
Yep.
talk experiences, love to talk about stories. I've had people ask me to come and help them out on
Yeah.
different shoots. I really enjoy that. And so,
Well, Gail,
We'll see.
it's a pleasure to see you again. this year. You said, you're still doing these things? I said, yeah, because I get a chance to sit down and talk to someone who I truly admire and respect. So I'm really, really glad we had a chance
Well, I
to talk.
appreciate that. Thank you very much. And thanks for taking
And this,
the
I
time.
don't know if you recognize, this was just sent to me from a friend of mine in Ghana. And sent all these different things and wrote my name and things like this.
Ghana's
This is
cool.
one of the most amazing gifts, I think I'm about to cry, I've gotten in a long time. It just showed up yesterday. So, if you have a chance, to travel, if you have a chance to travel with a camera, do it, because you're going to tell a good story. We're going to be back in just a few seconds with some other interviews, and tune in, because you never know what you're going to learn here at the video show. But better yet, come on down and meet Gail and say hello. We'll be right back.